is up, everybody? Welcome to the Bol Bol Lounge.
Bol Bol, let's go!
The Bol Lounge.
The Bol Lounge.
The Lounge?
None of those were good. So excited! I'm really excited to talk about Bol Bol. He's like the most interesting person alive,
And the tallest, yeah.
He's the tallest person.
He's literally the most interesting human being alive, but not for like traditional reasons. Like he's just, you know what I mean? Like I don't know that he lives a particularly interesting life.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
Interesting to us.
I'm deeply
Like,
interested
mostly.
in him. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I'm most interested to watch him play basketball,
Yes.
in particular for the Denver Nuggets, like he did last year in the bubble for the first time. Let's take a look at what he did. Let's take a look at his stats. These come from inside the bubble. He gets 5.7 points, 50% field goal shooting, 44.4% from three. Wow. And honestly, guys, when we were watching him, I mean, that's what stands out to me. I think this guy might be like a legitimately great three-point shooter.
Yeah, well, we had heard rumblings from the Nuggets that he was just like the best shooter in the gym when they would do shooting contests, except we never saw it during the season. And then he comes out of nowhere in the bubble and is this knockdown shooter. I mean, his shot can't be blocked. He's got an unblockable jumper. It's not even that he has a high release point. It's just he starts so high up that it's unblockable.
Right.
Yeah.
He kind of has a high release point. He has and then he twists on the shot.
Yeah.
But it is an unblockable shot, man. I mean, what's your level of intrigue with what you saw from Bol Bol, and what most intrigues you about?
I mean, it's through the roof, the level of intrigue. I would say what most intrigues me about the three-point thing to me, you look at the small sample size in college, you look at what he did in the bubble. All right, that guy's a three-point shooter. Done, you know? To me, it's the sort of like guard skills that he possesses, the way he can handle the rock, the way he can bring the ball up the floor. There's three guys now in MPJ, Bol, and Yoke that are on this roster that are far from traditional point guards that I think can bring the ball up and get the offense moving a little bit. So, I mean, the intrigue level, everything is on the table for this guy. From busting out to all NBA. So it's through the roof.
Yeah, is there anybody that's on this team that it's not a guard? Like everyone's a guard, right? Like
Paul Millsap.
Paul Millsap,
pretty much.
Like because Jokic is a
Hard
point.
rock.
Jokic is a guard.
Is pretty traditional.
Literally
center.
everyone's a guard. So
Yeah. Eric, where does he rank last year on your top storylines for the Nuggets?
well, I mean,
It was such a
obviously-
small storyline.
So storyline for the first portion of the season last year was all MPJ frustration. We're not getting enough MPJ time. The break happens, and then we allow the legend of Bol Bol to sort of grow in our minds. We get that very first qualification, or I guess it was bubble preseason. I don't even know what.
Scrimmage.
yeah, bubble scrimmages. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he comes in, and we just. I mean, I don't know that I've collected my mind since that time when he came in.
My jaw's still on the floor.
When he steals the ball, Jokic calls for it. He just goes, he eschews Jokic, goes up, hits a three in transition, and from that point, I'm like, I just can't. I need more. I absolutely need more.
He's like the Nas on a sports car, a race car. You know what I'm talking about? You know how those race cars have
Fast
Nas?
and Furious,
It's like it's already really fast car, but then you give Bol, and it's just like he gives like such a bigger boost.
Like if you're a person like me that watches basketball because it's a fun pastime and you like to see things that are fun take place, like Bol Bol is the ultimate Nas.
Oh yeah,
like
he
you
makes
say.
everything.
It's so much more fun. Like everything, like every rebound, I'm like, that was awesome. Like
We're going fast, but we haven't even hit
And
the
this
Nas
team's
yet.
already
Oh,
so fun.
God.
This team's already
Yeah.
so fun.
It's
It's
so
just
true.
that extra boost.
All right, so one of the things I wonder about him and his game from what we saw last year is whether he can score, knock down threes on the move. Because I think one thing with Denver is they've got guys like Paul Millsap, who's a spot-up three-point shooter, Michael Green, spot-up three-point shooter, and those guys have value. Even Jeremy Grant was that. But when you can start running guys off screens, that just ups their gravity so much. And he's a guy that I think might be able to do that. We saw a little bit of it in the bubble last year. We catches a pin down, pivots, knocks it down. If he can do that at 7'2", like, okay, forget it. I don't even know if there's any other skills he needs. Let's take a look at the over-under, though, for him, because this kind of frames a lot about what we're anticipating with him. How many games is he going to play? We're going to go over or under 35. 35 games. That's almost exactly half.
God, that is tough.
What do you think, Vote?
I'm going to take the under.
Oh,
I was just thinking about how much lower my line was in the player preview poll questions. I think it was like 9.5 or 10 because that's how many he played last season. The way this has gone so far, camp, which we're not privy to, just what we hear, and the scrimmages, you start running through the names on this roster. Now you're hearing Will Barton's healthy, ready to go, or healthy-ish. Where does Bol Bol play? Yeah. So, I mean, I think he appears in maybe a handful of games, but not to the point where he's a major fixture in what they're doing and it's over that number.
I'll go over. And I've said this about a lot of guys. I just think the Nuggets are going to go deep into their bench this season.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be one of those years. And the uncertainty with COVID, I think having a deep bench is going to be more important this year than it's ever been. And your overall talent could just really help you in a regular season. So I think Denver's not going to be afraid to dip into their bench. And I think they want to give him a chance, you know?
Yeah. I mean, again, I watch basketball because it's fun, but Malone does not coach basketball. He's like especially not interested in that aspect of his basketball team. So I think it's probably going to be under, and I think that we're going to get a full MPJ type response on Twitter. People are going to be clamoring for Bol Bol to play. Why isn't he playing Bol? Blah blah blah. Just settle down, people. All right, it's going to be under. It's going to be disappointing unless you don't allow it to be.
Yeah, it's up to you. It's up to you.
You just brace yourself for the under. Yeah. It's fine.
I'm going to take the over, fellas. Oh. I know it feels like a hot take, maybe a bold prediction or something, but I'm going to go over because I do agree, Eric. I think he's going to get the MPJ treatment, but I don't think MPJ got the MPJ treatment. What I think happened was MPJ got his opportunity in mid-December, and that was the plan. Now you're playing. Now you're in the rotation. But then he got hurt. Then he was out the rotation again. Then there was a COVID. So I think
one COVID.
There was one COVID that multiplied into millions of COVID.
It was a COVID.
It became a COVID. So I think that's what's going to happen with Bol Bol. I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't. And by the way, we're recording this in between the first and second preseason game. So maybe preseason game he starts, and we're like, oh, wow, what a development.
Could have dropped 30 by now. We just look like
they put out a rotation member of one. It was just Bol.
Just Bol.
We won by 40.
He won. It's crazy.
So who knows at this moment? But I would suspect that he gets that treatment. Doesn't play, not in the rotation early on. People are wondering what's going on. Gets a shot somewhere around halfway through the season to actually play big minutes, and then stays in the rotation. So I don't know if that's a hot take. That's kind of how I feel. Let's go to the big question with him. This is the big question.
Oh boy.
This is the big question for all of us. I guess we don't have to be the ones to answer this, luckily. This is more of a Tim Conley question or Michael Malone. But how much faith do you have in Bol Bol? Because we've spent a lot of time for a guy that might never play for the Nuggets because he's so interesting.
I'm really glad you framed the question this way because it's very different than what's the level of intrigue and what's the ceiling.
Right.
I don't know how much faith I have in Bol. I am positive that the way we talk about him is on the table. It's something he can achieve and accomplish. Considerably less so. I think, Bol sliding in that draft, like, I don't know. I just think there are teams that maybe wonder, like, is Bol about this? But getting pushing back, looking.
You're very influenced by this last game where it looked like he just did not want to be on the court.
The one shot of that first time out is still with me.
It's still with me. But look, I think there was some noise around this dynamic during draft time, and it's why Bol slid. And I just think it's something that so far so good in Denver, but we can't lose sight of.
Right.
Like, there's a reason why every other team in the NBA didn't just jump up and snag this guy.
Yeah. I don't know how much faith I have in him either, just because we haven't seen him play enough minutes yet. What I do have faith in is that I think with his skill set, with his size, with his IQ, which might be one of the more underrated aspects about him, I think he's got all the tools to make a difference in the NBA. I think he's got all the tools to be a guy who you can throw out there, and he's going to add a new dynamic to your team that you didn't have before. He's going to create problems for the defense that other guys can't do.
There's like three guys in the world that kind of present.
I have faith that he can do that.
That's it, because the question isn't really like, can he develop into an all-star, hit his ceiling? Like, that's super unlikely, but Denver doesn't need that. It's just that, can he add a new dynamic? Is he a new wrinkle matchup problem? And that's a much more modest question to answer.
See, the thing about Bol Bol is I remember seeing clips of him when he was playing against like 7th graders, and he was also at 7 feet tall at that point in time. Bol Bol has literally never faced actual adversity in his life, in his basketball career. He's
as a basketball player, you're talking strictly as like not being on, not about his life.
Not about his life. I'm talking about on the court. Like, I don't know that I have faith in Bol Bol to be met with adversity and rise above it on the basketball court specifically. Like, I think just having seen him, maybe not get the minutes he wants in that first preseason game, obviously weighting this a little heavily because it's mostly what we have to work off of. But he seemed to sort of like go into pout mode a little bit. He like didn't really rise up and respond. So I don't know that that's part of his personality. I need to see it,
Yeah.
Like I think that when things are going well, like he's a great player to have on the court. But when the chips are down, I'm not positive that he's the guy that can turn around. But I would be happy to be proved wrong.
So I think that what you guys are saying is that he's 20 years old.
Yeah,
which he is, and I think I think a lot of it comes to this. Now the point here is, so 20-year-olds can have these features where it's like you have to grow, you have to get tougher, you have to like be more accepting of things that that could get thrown your way, because that's just how life is. And in the NBA at the highest level, it's not going to go perfectly for you. How do you adjust? And I think those are the things you're wondering. And he's so young and doesn't seem, it certainly seems like that's going to be the biggest challenge. But I would phrase that the same as I do for Michael Porter. And that, to me, I don't question Michael Porter's talent at all. With Bol Bol, I mostly don't question the talent. Like, I think defensively, I want to see that he can, and strength-wise, he can do some of the things. But that's it. Other than that, like, superstar talent. But it is that other question: can you buy into a system? Can you go through each step of a process when all your life you've skipped, to your point, straight to the top? The last step in the process, you could skip to that line. Yeah. And so I think those are the things that you wonder about. But I will say the Denver Nuggets have built an incredible culture with this. Michael Malone seems to have the backing and the patience to say, hey, man, we're going to take the long view on him. And I think with Bol, it's especially true. So I'm curious to see how he grows in that regard. But I do think it's the question that's kind of most framing him. I will say, though, I've got faith in Bol. Yeah. I've got faith in Bol. I just think he's so talented that the margins get smaller, and I have faith in the Denver Nuggets. I also have faith in Nikola Jokic. Like, if you give him weapons, he'll use them properly. Yeah, for sure. So I think I have faith in it.
The faith in Denver part is a good pushback, because they've accomplished this so far. Yeah. And Will Barton, we were talking about this in the bubble. He was posting on his Instagram the stuff about Bol that he said about MPJ, that he said about Jokic. So that first preseason game, the way he looked in the huddle, not great. But so far, the early returns are, hey, this guy's focused, he's committed. So
I also like what Will Barton said in his media availability about Michael Porter, but I think it applies to Bol Bol too, where they were asking him, what's he got to do? What's the thing he's like, man, he's just got to be Mike, and he's got to go out there. And I think what he's saying, in addition to just playing your game and this or that, not overthinking it, I think it was also a level of like, you can't tell people what to do, man. They just have to figure it out. He's got talent. He's just, just let him figure it out. And once he does, it'll work. And
also, he's probably saying, look, if you just buy in, if you play within the system, if you embrace what we're doing in Denver, things are going to work out for you. Yeah. If you just stick to the plan and keep your head down and keep working and, don't get distracted, don't get pulled this way or that way, things are going to work out well for you.
And that's about who's in your ear, because I think another thing is, if you're a 6'7" wing and you have to play into a system where you can actually score more points, but maybe you take a step back, maybe that does affect your money. But I think Bol Bol and Michael Porter are such unique physical specimens with unique skill sets that even if their numbers, per game numbers, go down a little bit, but they're within a system, I think everybody will be like, you know what? Yeah, but he's a 6'10" one of those. Like, even if he's only a 17-point per game, only a 17-point per game scorer, we'll take him because he's 6'10" and he could probably do more. Same goes with Bol Bol. If he fits in the system, every team on earth is going to want to pay him an enormous amount of money.
You want to talk about a guy that has unparalleled gifts. I mean, just his physical gifts. He's like the most. I mean, we've talked about this. Not only is he's just like the most. There's no comp for Bol Bol.
Right.
Like,
he's the real unicorn.
There's truly no other player that looks even remotely like his game, that can shoot like he does at his size, that is his size to begin with, and he has the best name maybe in the history of the NBA. I like it when you say Bol. You don't know if you're using his first or his last name.
So stupid. So stupid. Well, we'll segue from that silly comment to now we'll give him the power of the law here as we go to Judge D-Line. Judge D-Line.
Let's get serious, shall we?
We're rewarding bad behavior here. That's what we do.
All right, so Judge is here. And actually, what a unique court system we have going on today. I don't want to call it compromise, but there are three. Usually there's a defendant, there's a prosecutor, there's a third wheel to this today.
Which we haven't named yet.
we haven't even named. That's how crazy it is. Wheel. Yeah. So we need to, we're trying to answer the question, what position is Bol Bol? What position is him? And I'll go first here. I've been assigned a position to argue for.
By yourself.
By myself. Well, I mean,
the argument. All right.
He's a center. Guys, he's 7'2".
Guys,
That's true.
You're dressing the.
I mean, Your Honor, Your Honor, he's 7 feet 2, and as you mentioned, that 7'9" wingspan, like 9 foot something, 9'8", I think, standing reach.
Sure.
Block shots at the rim without even jumping. He needs to add some strength, but I think that's why everybody's discounted. They look at it, they say he's so skinny. There's that skinny schminny. You can add wiry strength. You ever heard of wiry strength? He's going to add wiry strength.
None of us have ever heard of skinny schminny.
Your Honor, you're getting cut up on faux words, and I hope that you're paying attention.
It's court of law, my friend.
He just has a little bit of strength, and he could become a center. Maybe you add a little bit more bulk around him. But guess what? People are worried. Oh, maybe he's going to get beat up inside. What center's going to guard him on a pick and pop? You put Campasso at him and a pick and pop, it's over. I'm sorry. He's a center, guys. Backup center.
All right, I've heard your case. Who's next?
Harrison.
Harrison's next.
What am I arguing?
Yeah, you can tell.
You think he's a small forward?
I think he's a small forward. Well, Your Honor, we saw Bol play one position predominantly in the bubble. That was small forward.
There was nobody else there.
Yeah.
Objection, Your Honor.
Jokic was the
There were
point
no
guard, Your
guards
Honor.
healthy.
You know what? Actually, objection to you, sir. You have the floor, Harrison, please.
An objection is interested.
No. Overruled.
Were there no point guards healthy in the seeding rounds? Yes, the Nuggets had point guards. They had Monte Morris. Bol Bol played small forward, and I remember him being pretty impactful at small forward, if my memory serves correct. Do you remember him coming off that DHO with Nikola Jokic? The ball handling, the vision, the finishing ability seems tailor-made for a guy playing the three. He's got that ability to shoot. He's got that ability to attack off the drive. Those are skill sets that small forwards need. He's got them.
Am I up, Your Honor?
No, you're not. Is your argument?
It is.
I rest my case.
Brendan, vote that you have the floor. And I hate to ooh and ah along with an argument, but so compelling.
Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
I must say your hair looks splendid today.
Your Honor, we asked Bol Bol what position he is, and he told us he's a power forward.
Oh,
I rest my case.
Objection, Your Honor. Objection, Your Honor. Does Bol Bol make the rotation? No, he does not make the rotation.
That's a great
This
point.
is
That is a
Michael
really
Malone's
good
rotation.
counter. It's a good
Great
objection.
counter.
I didn't have anything.
Did you have anything to... you know what? I'm ready to make the ruling. Okay. In the case of Bol Bol versus the 5 versus the 4 versus the 3, this court rules in favor of Brendan Vogt.
Let's go!
He is a 4.
His first win. Congratulations. That was pretty good. All right, it's time to make some bowl predictions here. Bowl predictions. Probably
me.
Nope. We start with Vote this time.
Oh, vote.
Vote. Give us a bowl prediction on Bowl
We'll be debating his rotation spot
before
the start of the playoffs.
before the.
Before
It's really an open-ended bold prediction.
Yeah, exactly.
anyway.
I want to leave my doors open. No, before the start of the playoffs, we will be debating fervently whether or not Bol Bol should be a piece of that. Would it be 9, 8-man rotation in the playoffs?
Mm-hmm. I think you're probably right about that.
Yeah, probably not that bold.
That's not a bold. I think that's
We
accurate.
suck at bold takes.
Yeah,
Those are
you
my
suck at
biggest
bold takes.
takeaways.
I have a bold take here. I have a bold take, and it's extremely bold. He's going to have a game with 3 blocks and 3 threes in the single game. Okay. It's only happened 20 times. Only happened 20 times in NBA history. He's going to have one his rookie season. 3 blocks, 3 threes. This is what makes him so unique.
That's a really good one.
This is what makes him so unique is he does things that nobody else does. Yeah. So let's be honest. 3 blocks, easy could see it happen. 3 threes, easily could see it happen.
If you weren't such a coward, you would say he would do it 20 times this season.
He would double the amount of times.
All right, my bold prediction, he will have a Michael Porter Jr. type January
month.
Oh, January.
Well, not specifically January, but he will have an MPJ in January type of month. Like, there will be a month.
Oh, I get it.
Where
MPJ had a great January.
Yes.
Bol Bol will have a month that's great.
Yes. He will have a month where there's injuries, there's something, and a mysterious illness that happens. Maybe not so mysterious.
Some COVID.
A bunch of players will be held out for an illness.
He's talking about COVID.
Yeah. A rotation spot will open up, and Bol will suddenly play, 20, 25 minutes in a month, and he'll have a breakout month like MPJ did in January. And then we'll all be talking about how maybe he should be in the playoff rotation, like Brendan Vogt's bold.
If every player had a game this year that was known as like the Dozier game, the Jokic game, the Bol Bol game would probably be all of our favorites, right?
God.
Like if every player got to have a game, the Bol Bol game would be number one. No? The MPJ game for you? The Compasso game?
Yeah.
The Compasso
Listen, guys, representation is important.
Oh, you're like,
Compasso,
the
30
short guy.
points.
You're
30 points,
the,
10 assists, 10 steals.
I can't wait for you to stand the Tiny King all
That's
year.
all it. I didn't
I'm
know
telling you,
they
we're
were
gonna have a
do this.
segment called "The Tiny Kingdom" with Brendan.
Anyway,
Faku,
I
come on,
think
DNVR
most
show.
people would say the Bol Bol game. That's the one.
Yeah.
Like you have the Bol Bol breakout game, and it's like, oh, that's.
I mean, his again that whatever the game that was in the bubble, like when he made one basket, that was that's like literally all I needed.
It really did like pull me out of the COVID depression.
It did.
You know?
Oh,
Like,
It really did.
We were
yeah.
jumping and dancing around the bar.
First
It was
time I smiled in weeks.
I know,
all right, what do you got? Did you go bold, Eric?
let's find out together.
Okay, let's see. what
My
you went
bold
with.
prediction is, he won't get much playing time. Sorry to be a killjoy to myself here, but we've got a lot of players on this team that are well deserving of minutes. Every player on this team is a guard. Granted, I mean he is in a position where there is a little bit less of a logjam in that he could play the 5, he could play the 4. He could
play the 3.
Although we litigated that, it's not going to happen. But I don't know. I didn't like what I saw from Bol Bol in that first preseason game.
I think we're putting too much weight on
we
this
are.
first
We absolutely
preseason.
are.
Yeah, I'm
but,
just gonna say that.
But I'm saying like also, consider the fact that we also didn't see Greg Whittington in that game. Like that's a guy that could get playing time over him.
Our bold takes on Craig Whittington were like way too high. Bold takes on Bol Bol like way too normal.
I know. Yeah. I don't know. I guess maybe I'm trying to protect my own heart here by just setting my expectations low so that if it comes through, I can be delighted. But I don't know. I don't know if I see it.
I will say one thing I think is different about Bol this year than MPJ last year is with MPJ, he was the only new thing. Like everything else was like we'd already gone through this. So we were all clamoring for it. This year, MPJ's new, Compasso's new, and then Bol Bol's new. And then there's all this other stuff that's new that maybe, RJ, Zeke. So there's enough new things that I think will, we have enough treats that if Bol Bol doesn't get minutes.
I do feel like there's a really good possibility that Zeke Naji takes minutes that would have gone to Bol.
Oh, wow.
I feel
You're on
like
the Zeke high.
I just love that Zeke, man.
I just the more I hear Michael Malone talk this preseason, the less confident I feel that he's going to do a lot of experimenting. Like he's had a lot of quotes recently where he said, "Yeah, like we can't mess around at the beginning of the season.
Right? Yeah.
We've got to get out to a good start. In the bubble, we already had a playoff spot locked up. But there's nothing guaranteed right now. It's
true.
I wonder if he's looking at the new play-in tournament and he's like, man, like obviously every coach is saying this. We can't be in that play-in tournament. We got to get a top 6 seed. So I don't feel confident that there's going to be a ton of experimentation going on.
Yeah. Well, that's our take on Bol Bol. Whatever happens, he'll be interesting to follow. Hopefully interesting in the good column. But I think it will, including for us tonight, game 2, and then later this week, game 3 of the preseason.
Just hoping this season gets a little Cinedust sprinkled all over it.
A little Cinedust. What does that give us?
Bol Bol stands for Cinedust.
It's Bol Bol's pregame meal.
You should go online
Just
sometime.
A bunch of Cinedust.
What is that? What's happening online these days? All right, thanks so much, guys. If you want to see the premium edition, we have a part 2 of this for DNVR members for $5 a month. You go to thednvr.com. You sign up. You get access to all of it, including part 2 of this video where we talk. We do some film study on them. We get some wind chimes. See if people are talking.
You're gonna want to check out these wind chimes on Bol Bol. Just saying.
Are they positive wind chimes?
Yes. Yes, they are positive.
The Greenberg level
They're
teas
very
there.
interesting.
Wow.
Very interesting wind
I
chimes.
can't wait. And then the fan vote, the irrational fan vote. I'm sure Eric said something crazy about Bol Bol.
Yep.
We can't wait for it. We'll see you guys
He
next
said
time.
something about Bol Bol.
Something crazy.